by the trust fund, the trust deed. Therefore, it was not in my space to begin to take away their powers. But still, my emphasis was in going ahead with your decision. You need to make sure that you've attended those risks, and also that the conclusion of the transaction should be in the best interests of the fund and its members. That was coming from a basic understanding of the law of trust, where a trustee knows that he must put the interest of beneficiaries first. That's why I emphasize on the best interest of the fund and its members.
You're free at any point when you want a break to ask as your committee. We are ready, and the way we've treated everyone, every witness who has appeared shall be treated the same. So feel free, relax, enjoy the proceeding, because the way you know most of the faces are seated here. So I would like to urge you to relax. Where you feel you need more time, kindly request for the same. Where you feel that no, can we break? You're free to request for such, because as your parliament, we just want to get the information. There's nothing more that we'll ask members or witnesses to. So feel free and relax. Just relax as you can, so that your committee can keep getting information that will help us reach to the final conclusion of this inquiry. So once again, if you feel like you need a break, don't worry. Your committee is here to support Parliament and get the details in a conducive manner. Over to you, Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Thank you for that kindness. Should we get to a point where I need that break, I will not hesitate to indicate so. So I was at a point where, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members, I was saying the other part of my statement was a permissive statement, which was dependent entirely on satisfying the condition precedent, which is to deal with the prudential issues that the Reserve Bank of Malawi had raised, and which I, therefore, did raise with a fund. It was not an authorization of the transaction's merits, but it was a legal statement that if the board fulfilled its fiduciary duties and prudential reviews, they could proceed from a purely legal standpoint. Given that the SCB had created the transaction of corruption at that stage, so my advice was process-oriented, not commercial. Now, in terms of alignment with regulatory advice, my advice was further reinforced by the Registrar of Financial Institutions in his letter, which he wrote to me on 6th January 2026. But of course, I received it on the 10th of January 2026. Dr. MacDonald Mwale stated unequivocally that the transaction should not proceed until the identified prudential risks were addressed. In my view, that was in line with what I had already told the fund. Address the prudential issues first, and then, only then can you proceed with the transaction. So you can actually see, Honourable Chair and Honourable Member, also talk about the question of authorization and legal authority. I wish to draw the committee's attention to a fundamental principle of administrative law, that an officer created by a particular law should only act within the mandate of their law that creates that office. It is in that regard that the Attorney General has no power to authorize commercial investments by any statutory body. To suggest that is to misunderstand the separation of powers and responsibilities within the government setup. The power to invest lies with the Board of Trustees as given to them under the Trust Deed and the Pensions Act. My office does not and cannot sit as a super board over state organizations. Importantly, it is important to note that the trust fund is essentially a body corporate. Now, the danger of conflicting legal advice with commercial endorsement. If the Attorney General was to authorize transactions, it would create a dangerous precedent. It would absorb the powers, the fiduciary duties that are placed on boards and the people that are entrusted to hold positions in those boards, and perhaps even transfer the liability that arises from any decisions made in investments to the Office of the Attorney General. Yet, the Office of the Attorney General is neither structured nor mandated to do that. The role of the Attorney General is to advise on what the law is and not to show how businesses should be run. In that regard, the final decision on this particular investment would only lie with the trustees of the fund. And that's why you may have seen, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, that the agreement for the sale of this hotel was signed by the chairperson as well as another trustee, because those are the people that are mandated to transact, and they were doing so within that mandate. And allow me, Chair, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, to comment on the regulatory concerns, like I earlier on said, that the Reserve Bank had raised. In my letter of 28th December 2025, I did acknowledge the serious prudential concerns raised by the Registrar of Financial Institutions. As I have already said, the RBM report that was made available to me did highlight potential liquidity mismatches and concentration risks, among other risks. And to emphasize, Honorable Chair and the members, that those are not legal opinions. Those were risks identified by a team of experts within the Reserve Bank of Malawi, who are essentially economists, finance people, and the like. So they were not legal in nature. And because they are coming from financial expert analysis of the risks, that is why I did emphasize to the fund to review those issues before proceeding to finalize the transaction. Honorable Chair and honorable members, the subsequent order by the Reserve Bank Governor to reverse the transaction underscores that the prudential risks could not have been adequately addressed by the board. And that confirms my conditional advice to review the risks before proceeding with the transaction. Honorable Chair, I need to report that a few weeks ago, I did receive a dossier of documents from the fund in which the trustees were explaining how they have dealt or intend to deal with the prudential issues or risks that were highlighted by the Reserve Bank, and which I did ask them to look into before concluding the transaction. Honorable Chair and honorable members, my hope and trust is that the governor of the Reserve Bank, being the person mandated under the law to look into such issues, will assess what the fund has submitted and see if the fund is within the regulatory framework, and perhaps whether they've attended to the issues as raised by the Reserve Bank. Again, to emphasize here that as the Office of the Attorney General, we're not able to comment on the responses that were given by the fund on the prudential issues, because that's not within our mandate. That's the mandate of the Reserve Bank Governor. In conclusion, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members, the Office of the Attorney General acted with diligence, transparency, and within its legal mandate. Upon receiving the complaint from the Malawi Society, we initiated an anti-corruption probe. And upon receiving the reports from SCB, as well as the Reserve Bank of Malawi, we issued a cautious, conditional legal guidance, explicitly directing the board to first address the serious prudential risks. We did not authorize the transaction. We merely facilitated a lawful process which the board was then obliged to execute responsibly within their fiduciary duties. My office remains committed to the rule of law and to providing sound legal advice to government institutions. I thank you all for your attention. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Attorney General, for that submission as one of the witnesses in the inquiry that Public Accounts Committee has been undertaking. Honourable members, allow me to open the floor for plenary. Those who want to take to the floor, kindly indicate so. I see Zomba Msondole. I see Karabe Central. I see Lilongwe Chuamba. Blantyre Chiromoni. Chikwawa West. Other members, let me guide in this way. I'll go by a member at a time, where after you ask your question, I'll give it to the Attorney General to respond. When the Attorney General has responded, then I'll go to the next honor member for a question. This is going to help us get responses from the Attorney General, and in that way also give him space to take more questions. So allow me to start with Zomba Msondole. Zomba Msondole, please.
Thank you, Chair, for giving Zomba Msondole a chance to ask the Attorney General. I have two questions. The first question is that I wanted the Attorney General to tell this committee when did he appointed as an Attorney General, and when did he start the work as an Attorney General of Malawi? The second question is, can he tell this committee when did he know about the purchase of the Amaryllis Hotel? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Zomba Msondole. Attorney General, you can take those two from Zomba Msondole. Over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and the Honorable Member from Zomba Msondole. I was appointed as Attorney General on 27th October 2025, and it was with immediate effect, so I immediately started discharging my duties. I only got to know about this particular transaction on 19th November 2025 when I received the letter from the Malawi Society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Karabe Central.
Thank you, Chair. Attorney General, good morning, sir. I have two questions. The first one is the pensions fund bought Sigerege Hotel before this transaction. They used the pension funds to buy Sigerege Hotel. Was the office involved, sir? That's the first question. The second question is several officers of the fund has appeared before this committee and other board members. We have a report that in March 2024, there was a meeting in Mzuzu called and chaired by the former Chief Secretary, Madam Colini Zamba. In that meeting, Madam Zamba issued a number of directives. Among them, one of them was that the sale transaction should be concluded with speed and be concluded within 30 days. There were reports emanating from that meeting. There are several other directives. Are you aware of that meeting, sir? And did you access that meeting? At those minutes, did you access? Thank you very much. Because they will very much help you. Did you access those minutes of the meeting called by OPC then in Mzuzu in 6 March 2024, chaired by Madam Colini Zamba, instructing the fund to move with speed and conclude within 30 days. Did you access those minutes, sir? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nkatabe Central, our senior. Attorney General, you can take those questions from Nkatabe Central. Over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Member from Nkatabe Central. I do not have information on how Sigerege was purchased by the fund. And in my dealings...
General, can you switch off your mic? I just want to bring to your attention that the noise out there, other people or the newly elected MPs are taking their oath. So they've come with people from various constituencies. So those are Nyamata Molalo, Agunjaku. So those have nothing to do with this proceeding of our parliament. So, honourable members, I don't know if we need to proceed or ask our parliament to. But my direction, because of the noise, background noise, I would propose that we suspend for 5 or 10 minutes so that our security people can ask members that there is an equally important engagement because there's too much background noise from this room. Yeah. Honour members, can we suspend for 10 minutes so that the Secretariat can clear the people out there who are making noise because they were accompanying those who won in the by-elections. Thank you so much, honour members.